Hey everybody, Monday morning, and I'm about to start my list of projects I got going on for this week. First thing I got going on is my nephew Connor was working on a foreclosure, and he came across this neat piece of hardware and he brought it over to me. So what I have here is one of those Rubbermaid totes, and we're going to utilize that to soak the hook in a solution of water and Arm & Hammer baking soda washing detergent, or some of the resources I read say that you can utilize OxyClean washing detergent as well. So the hook is here, and what I did is I set up a piece of scrap steel with a lot of surface area so that this way it can be connected to the positive lead of the battery charger, and that's what's going to attract the rust. I don't want to put the leads of the battery charger directly in the water, so what I did here was I took a piece of 12-2 wire and kind of bent it over the edge, and this is where I will connect the negative lead of the battery charger. So I added a 1/4 cup of the Arm & Hammer washing soda. This is what I've added. Again, it was approximately a 1/4 cup. And now I'm going to take the hose and really try and get it all to dissolve. I may have been better off pre-dissolving in a bucket and then adding it to here. But my impatience got the better of me. Looks like this is working out just fine. I connected the positive to the piece of sacrificial steel, and we connected the negative to the copper wire that's tied into the hook. And you can take a look already. We're seeing some bubbling occurring, which I'm assuming is going to start to take apart the rust and make it all a nice clean steel. So we decided to change the anode from this one here, which was old and rusty to start out with, to a new piece of steel. And the action that we're getting almost instantaneously is amazing. It's bubbling so much more than it was with the old piece of steel. So it's about midnight, and I came down to check and see what's going on with the electrolysis. It's been about 6 hours since I changed the anode to the solid steel bar instead of that rusty old piece of metal I had, and it's working much more effectively. I'm not sure if you can see the smoke coming off of the hook and the bubbling happening on the anode. It's really having a lot of action, which I'm hoping is going to prove to be effective results. We'll check it again in the morning. So it's 6:45 in the morning, and I came to check and see what's going on here. I can't believe how much action is happening in the solution. It's bubbling up a storm. And what I also found was very interesting is the meter now is up to 6 amps of resistance, where yesterday it was only at like 1. In a short while I'm going to flip it over so the end that is outside of the water can start being worked on. Okay, after some late night thinking and realizing that the areas that were closest to the anode and to the negative contact were the areas that were getting the cleanest, and having to rotate the hook so that this way different areas got submerged and could get clean, I decided to increase the amount of anode. So all I did was take a jumper and take it from the steel plate and ran a lead over to a steel coffee can. It's not really a coffee can, but a can, and put it there. And what's neat is I moved it closer to the hook, and look at how much action is actually happening at the rust on the hook portion, whereas before all the bubbles were over here closest to this point of contact because it was the closest distance to the steel plate. So we're going to leave it like this for a couple of hours and see how it looks. But if you take a look on the inside of the pulley at the hook, it's gotten so much cleaner. It's insane the difference between yesterday and today. Definitely looks like it needs a little more, and it may actually even need some mechanical action of scrubbing with a wire brush, but it'll be a lot less than what it was. This is insane. I can't believe how much action is getting through the water and the soap solution. I'm not sure if it's all visible through the video camera, but the bubbling and whatnot is like almost, it's volatile how much it's bubbling. I think adding the steel can into the solution has created additional surface area for the anode, so it's just causing so much more action in the water. So it's been about 24 hours, 23 hours since we started, but only around 13 hours since we added the extra steel plate. I am amazed on the amount of action coming out of here. Look at all those bubbles and the So after 30 hours of electrolysis, this is the end result. It should be noted that the first 12 hours were with the oxidized anode, so I wasn't getting maximum performance out of the electrolysis, but the last 18 hours was with the new piece of steel, which really made a tremendous difference. I think that most of the electrolysis took place in the last 18 hours. You could see the finish is really spectacular. None of this was like that before the electrolysis. It was all pitted and rusted and caked on, and in addition, the hook was not able to turn previously. The electrolysis really loosened up and got rid of all the rust. There are some areas that are still have some appearance of rust, like right there in the corner and around the cotter pin, but I'm not so sure that I'm going to spend any more time on it. One of the things that I did notice was the battery charger kept tripping. It seemed like it had an internal heat circuit and it was getting too warm, so it would trip, shut down, cool off, and then turn back on. So I was a little apprehensive about letting it go again overnight, but I think overall I'm pretty pleased with the results and would definitely use this method again.